Hey there, friends, Nibs again. Out in the garage tonight doing a little bit of goofing around, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about this Vevor, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Vevor PCP compressor that I received the other day, and I did an unboxing for a mail call for you guys with it. And I promised you guys I would do some torture testing with it, and and really do some testing with it before I did the review. And but before we get into that, let's just talk about what you get with the package. So I'll bring you down here real quick. I do have a camera running here so we can see what's going on with the gauges when I do start up working with it. But so we have our instruction manual, obviously, and we get our compressor. It does come with a nice bag full of accessories. It's got a whip for running it off 12 volts off your car. A bunch of really nice spares, some O-rings and burst discs, and extra air and oil filters. Actually, let me grab this one over here real quick. This is the fill whip that comes with it, which is nice. It has a little air and water separator on it, actually much bigger than most of the pumps come with that I've seen. But I do like to use a secondary one with desiccant and a much larger filter setup. So, but let me hook that back up and then we'll talk about this thing some more. We are going to fill up in the video here, I'm not going to keep you on for the whole time, but we are going to fill up my Shinsung Career Ultra, which is by far the biggest tank of anything I have out here in the garage, so that'll be a good little test for it. I expect it'll probably take about 10 or 15 minutes to pump up, and I'll cut out most of that in the middle and just keep you for the beginning and the end. But I'll have a camera running on the meter and the temperature gauge so you guys can see what's going on with that. But before we start that up, tell you a few things that I did. Maybe Vevor won't like this, but I don't recommend doing this to your unit. It will definitely void the warranty. But I wanted to see if this thing was built to take some punishment. So the first thing I did, well, I pumped up a bunch of guns. I degassed my Umarex and filled it up like 3 or 4 times. It took like 5 minutes to gas up the Umarex to 3650. And then the next thing I did, I have a couple of these 30-minute Scott tanks, and this one here was down to about 3,000 psi, give or take a few pounds. I set the pressure gauge on the Vevor to 4,000. I don't like to take them too much higher than that because I'm not doing this in a, those are supposed to be pumped up in a special environment, in a enclosed environment, so if they do burst, you won't have a problem. So I only go up to 4,000 with my SCBA tanks. Should be a lot of safety there. But anyway, so I set that up for 4,000 and I started it running, and it took exactly 18 minutes for that to pump that from 3,000, it was just a touch above 3,000, all the way up to 4,000 psi, and the temperature gauge never went above 31 degrees Celsius, which is about 83, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, which is was about above room temperature of what we have going on here. So very impressed with that so far. My Hotson Volt, which is more than twice the cost of this, would never, I've tried to put some air in my scuba tank even with it, and thing would only run for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then it would reach max temperature and I'd have to shut it off. So I know that the big thing that's helping this one out is it's got a really high power fan in it, and it's very noisy, so that will we'll actually grab my sound meter and we'll do a dB reading on it. But it sounds like a server fan if you've ever dealt with anything like that in the IT world. But then the next thing I did was, just because that did so good, I hooked this up to my scuba tank, which is like 3 times the capacity of my SCBA tank, and I just set that running, and I set the pressure gauge here to 3,000, and it ran for 25 minutes straight, and then it shut down, and I thought, oh great, I broke it. But it doesn't say anything about it in the manual, but it appears this thing has a timer on it, because I did it 2 more times and it ran for 25 minutes. Actually, I did it another time into the scuba tank, and then I did it another time just free running, and it every time I timed it with a stopwatch on my other phone, and it went up to exactly 25 minutes and shut off. So it does have, seems like it has a shut off feature that won't let it run for more than 25 minutes, which is good, because if you forget about it and walk away, at least it'll eventually shut down and won't blow up a scuba tank or whatever. But another feature that and let me start this. I want to show you guys this. Another feature that I found was, and it also doesn't say that about this in the manual, but when you start up the unit right off the bat, it shows in Celsius, but if you hold down the compressor button, it may have already done it. Yeah, okay, so it's reading 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Now if I hold that down, it'll blink and it'll switch over to Celsius. I'll leave it on Fahrenheit because I know that better. But it says never to run it without the fan on, but I wanted to do that without having that loud fan going. And even during those 25-minute cycles, the temperature stayed right around 30 degrees Celsius, got to a max of about 31.4, 31.7, which is just phenomenal. I mean, that's less than 90 degrees. The Hots on Volt, even just free running, within less than 10 minutes, it reaches 195 degrees Fahrenheit, and you have to shut it down. The manual says never to let it go above 190 or 195, one of those two. Anyway, I'm going to hook up the whip up to the Vevor here, and we're going to start the Shinsung getting filled up. It is completely empty, and I expect it will take about 10 minutes or so for it to fill up. But we'll see. And you know what, I don't have actually, you know what, I'll just use my watch, and it'll be approximately so many minutes, because I'm using my other phone to film the top of the unit here. So far, this thing really seems to be. One other thing before we started up, I did lift the lid on it, so to speak, lift up the hood to see what's underneath there. You know, you always got to look at the engine, right? And I'll put a picture of that up here, and it is looks very ruggedly made, very well machined. All the pieces, sometimes, you know, things that come from overseas, even though it may look nice on the outside, is very crudely machined inside and stuff, and I've seen a lot of that. but this one actually seems, at least in the outward part of the pieces, to be quite nicely made. So, but we're going to go ahead and get this started. It is about 5 minutes till 8, so I'm going to start up the fan, and it'll start to get loud here. Let me get my dB meter real quick. The fan is the loudest part, so. So it's showing 91 dB right now. When we first started up, the fan kind of dies back a little bit, but it's still running right at about 86 dB, which isn't too bad. I can talk over top of it. It's just kind of annoying, but so I got everything running. It's just starting up, so it takes actually a minute or two to actually fill up the bigger air cylinder or filter that I have there before it actually starts pushing air into the gun. But that fan is what really does the trick for this thing. It just keeps it so much cooler. I'll stop talking until it's filled up. Alrighty, so there you go. That was the fill from 0 up to 3,000 psi, or about 210 bar. I'm guessing this meter on here shows in either bar or MPa. I think they're right about the same, just MPa is like a tenth of bar. But if you look here, the temperature gauge made it up to about 80, and it's already coming back down again. It's at 78. But it flashes E4 when it's done, either reaches a 25-minute limit or shuts off because of the dial and the pressure gauge here. But I'm going to go ahead and shut the fan off because it's already at room temperature still. So it might come back up a little bit. There might be a little residual heat inside of the unit, but anyway, so there you go. That is my review, my initial review for the Vevor. So the model, it says here, is 220 volt, 110 volt, dash 12 volt. And it's just portable 12 volt HPA compressor. And these, if you look in my description down below, I have a link for this and for the hand pump. And there'll also be a promo code down there. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there's a promo code for my link, and you'll get an additional 5% off any purchase. So, but yeah, if you buy one of these pumps or one of these compressors or one of those pumps, I will get a commission off of that sale. So, but yeah, this is working great. I mean, this is a great pump. $254 was the retail price at the time of this filming, May 15th, 2023. You know, if you watch this down the road, it may go up, it may go down. It's hard to say, but it's a great value. There's a few other brands that look like they have very similar features, so I don't know if they're made in the same place and painted different colors, but this Vevor looks to be a pretty good value. So, but anyway, there you go. Make sure you check out my links down below: Buck Rail, Amazon, Vevor, of course. Another exciting adventure just getting ready to start out is I've been in the conversation with the folks at and they're going to be sending me one of their PCP rifles for me to review, and hopefully that'll be a good relationship starting out there as well. So anyway, hope you liked the video. Till next time, have a great day.